Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies!
Indie Horror Junkie.
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 We're a panic attack.
Indie Horror Junkies!
Indie Horror Junkies.
Indie Horror Junkies! Indie Horror Junkies!
It's the Indie Horror Junkie Podcast, your source for anything and everything indie horror. Here's your host, Otis B. Dreads.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. I'm flying solo. There's been no sighting of Rick Danford or Amy Rolfson. No, I'm kidding. They are actually, they are actually at a premiere in Tampa, the new movie Stream with David Howard Thornton. But fear not. Fear not. We got a great one tonight. Chuck Karolina Morrengiello. You've been probably seeing a lot of posts that at least myself have been making regarding a little bit of behind the scenes footage. Some you're or not footage, but pics. Some you're going to see tonight. Killer Grannies is making its rounds on social media, local media down there in the Tampa area. We're going to talk all about that with the dynamic duo, as I think they've been coined, powerhouse couple. Before we do, we're not going to waste too much time. Before we do, we want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, the brand spanking new issue of the Indie Horror Junkie magazine. Look at that thing of beauty. Is coming out the 13th of September. That's great. You're going to do Desert Fiends, Clown Motel 3, The Green Woman, The Woods Are Alive, Nightmare Collection 3. All got a special place in this issue. So September 13th. Mark your calendars. They're taking some pre-orders because they have been running out quite quick. And also one last thing before we get to some Killer Grannies. The Indie Horror Film Fest. Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest, I should say, going on at MegaCon. This past year, you've seen a lot of footage in that very first video we played. It was a great time. Our guest tonight, Chuck Karolina, was there. Really good time. If you have a short, if you get a feature, submit it to us. Go over there to indiehorrorjunkie.com. You'll see all the links down there. And get to the .com, and it's pretty, easy street from there. Hit Film Fest, go down. It's all self-explanatory. We want to see your short or your feature, and you will get a lot of eyes on it. We had a great turnout. But tonight, one feature that, nobody has seen because it just wrapped just a few days ago. Killer Grannies. We are going to talk here with Chuck Karolina. How are you guys doing tonight? There's the masterminds behind Killer Grannies, man. I'm so excited, not just because I had a part in it, but I'm so excited to see this final project, because a lot of it I only got to see through pictures, you know, courthouse scenes and everything like that. I'm so excited to see how this turns out, brother. Yeah, I mean, you guys did an amazing job. I learned a lot. It was awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Otis. It's good to see you, brother.
Hey, man, it's been too long, right? It's been about a week or so. So, for those that, you know, have maybe seen the post on, you know, Facebook, but don't really know a whole lot about it, why don't you speak to them right now? Tell us how this all came about. Was there any type of inspiration behind it? You know, how did this all start with Killer Grannies?
Well, we just came off of another production in March, as you know, The Snarly Owl. After we finished that production, that was finished around March 25th in West Virginia. We came back to Tampa Bay, and we had said, hey, you know, let's make another film. Me and Karolina says, let's just make this other film that we had put together in Poland. So we wrote the screenplay in Berlin and Poland area in December of 23. So we felt really good about the movie. So when we came back to Tampa Bay, we started getting the motions together, you know, getting all the production together. The story basically came about. I had found these two women and many other women around the world from Deadly Women, the show that's on TV.
Very familiar with ID, yes.
So we always kind of watched that show, and we kind of liked that show. And I found this story of these two women that had basically liked to take homeless men in, groom them for society, get them back on track, help them, get them a job, give them money, feed them top-notch food, which they didn't have living off the streets. So I thought it was just a perfect story to kind of put into cinema, to make a you know, a movie out of. It just felt really good. I kept showing the screenplay to Karolina, and she was really digging it. And she says, you know, that feels great. You know, she kept saying, I like it. We would sit and talk about it at dinner. So by around January of 24, we knew about this film, but it was in our bag of tricks, basically. It was in our artillery. It was in the hopper. We knew we had to make it. So that's how we kind of came about that. And the film just felt great, you know, when two women that were diabolical, evil, that were grannies. They didn't like men. They hated men, basically, and they would just do anything for a buck. They were con artists. And Karolina, you can elaborate a little bit more on that if you'd like.
The two grannies, which you would never think of any granny to be evil. You know, you always think about them that they are warm, nice ladies. We thought about it like, wow, you know, I don't know any movie that revolves around two elderly women that are going on a killing spree. So I thought the idea is really cool, and Chuck took it and he wrote a script, then screenplay, and we wanted to make that movie. So it's about two killer grannies that are taking homeless men for financial gain, and we can't tell you why, but that's in the movie. What they're
Right.
doing.
And you know, you probably could have handpicked any of 15, 20 stories you'll see on ID. You know, I mean, there's all kind of stories out there. Black Widow this, Black Widow that, same type of scenario. But you know, this you know, it's not labeled a horror, it's labeled a thriller, suspense, drama type deal. Yeah. So
it has some bloody moments though. So
sure.
the movies get some gore. We're not gonna lie, it's not always you know, thriller, suspense. It has some horror moments. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing more scary than some of these true crime stories where it could be the guy right next to you. You know, I mean, that's, you know, horrifying to me at any rate. Now, this was a big production. On some of these scenes, you had, extras out the wazoo. My last day of filming, there was, how many extras, homeless people do you think you guys had out there?
We casted probably about 200 of them, and we had probably, I don't know, maybe 100 of them show up. 75 to 100, and then we had people coming at the last minute that said, "Hey, I'm coming down there now. I'm driving from Orlando. I'm driving from the Panhandle. I'm coming all the way from Maryland."
Wow.
We just were overwhelmed with these transients.
Actors.
There were extra actors, and I even think that there was some transient hobos that were down on the scene that maybe got mixed in somehow to the mix.
Man, all of those extras, and then of course, more your main actor. Man, that's a lot for a director. That's a lot for you guys to keep up with. I mean, you got 50 or so people running around. How did you not pull your hair out? Speaking of overwhelming.
We were very ready for this day. We had a beautiful, amazing team of people helping us.
Yes.
We knew we need to have a good art department. We needed a good makeup department. We worked with Angela De Leon and with Joanne Klein and Mickey and other makeup artists who actually prepped all the people. We were there at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we knew in 2 hours we need to just do makeup to all of them, which is, you're talking about hundreds of people.
Yeah.
We have like 4 hot seats. Everybody were on the hot seat and good to go. So we had to prep all the makeup, wardrobe, and everything on the set. It was challenging. Plus, it was a hot day, as you know.
It was over 100 degrees.
We were sweating our butts off, and it was very hard for me as well to be able to organize everything. But we had a team of people, like I said, who were helping us, and some of them volunteered, and it was wonderful to have all of them with us, and we were very thankful for everybody who showed up that day. It was amazing to have all that support. And we're going to mention, I can't mention all the names, like Jim Balls and Dave McCormick and other people. I can't mention all of them, but
Matt Sable.
we will one day, list all the people. Of course, everybody's getting an IMDb credit from us, and we are so thankful. That's why we could do it, because of those people.
Yeah, there was. We got there at
Absolutely.
6 a.m. in the morning. They wouldn't let us shoot this till 8 p.m. We had a lot of filmmakers try to stay away from permits, but we wanted to get permits. We had to get permits for downtown Harvey Perry Park, which is a historical park there in Tampa Bay. We actually scouted the place months prior to the shoot. So we get there at 6. Jim Bowles, a great line producer associate, got into scene. And me and Karolina, we wear different hats. We know how to set design. We know how to make up. So we know how to direct. We produce. We do different things. We also are professional actors, professional musicians. So we got there and we started laying down all the cardboard, and we actually prior made these props with signs on them. We'll work for money. 2 kids, no money, please. We made all these props. And we started positioning a quarter mile up the street on Central Avenue there and East Scott Street. So everybody came kind of maybe 40% dressed in their outfits, and we put the finishing touches on them at 60%. It was so intense that there was actually people that were part of the Tampa Bay, Hillsborough County, recovery assistance program that go around trying to help homeless men, that they were walking up to our lead actors. One of the persons walked up
offering them Narcan.
Offering them to medicine to reduce
Narcan.
was it Narco?
Narcan.
Narcan, yeah.
to reduce their opioid addiction.
So everybody thought that this is a real scene, and people wanted to call the cops like, hey, why there's so many homeless people gathering around this area? What's going on? Everybody thought that these people are real homeless people. So we had to have did a good job.
There was this woman that jumped out of the building. She was on her cell phone. She was the manager of the building right across the street, and she saw 60 of these guys right in front, all congregating, and she's just like, oh my God, I think there's something going on here. There's all these homeless men. Where are they all coming from? They were like zombies.
We have a guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah, a guy in a wheelchair, a guy in a basket. And I ran up to her and I said, and she goes, what's going on? There's an invasion of these homeless men all coming together, And I said, no, relax. I said, everything's cool. I said, we're making a movie here. We're making a motion picture film. And she's, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I said, and next thing I know, she's inviting me in the building and says I can even go swimming in the swimming pool.
People coming to the homeless, our actors offering them condoms and all this stuff. They're thinking like, wow, like what's going on? Are you real? And they're playing with them, so they're pranking those people. Our actors were pranking them, so that was just hilarious.
It was hilarious, and everybody got along great. And that shoot, we started at 6 a.m. prepping it. By 8 o'clock. We start shooting it with Adam Bosner and his crew, and we ended up, Otis, as you know, probably at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And it was brutal, man. It was hot. And we're glad that we had enough water there to be hydrated. So it was a brutal shoot that day, but we made it happen. It came out great, and everybody had a great time. Lindsay Hammerstead was there, and we just had a great time,
It really was. That's the first big production like that I've ever been on. And with so many people, I got little issues with anxiety. And with so many people, I'm like, oh, man, how is this going to work? But I never felt more comfortable. Everybody was so welcoming, so helpful. And speaking of location stories, I'll never forget the Narcan story. That was just hilarious. But that is a head nod to the makeup department there, because they did such a great job. But one of the other set locations, my first day on set, was at one of your neighbors, I believe. This is him right here.
Yeah.
That's Ross.
And what's that?
That's Ross and on the right of me or left of me due to the viewer. And then you got Zach Vasquez in the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zach is in back.
And Zach, I don't know if you caught it in the little video right before the actual intro. You'll see Zach in there. He was out there hanging out with us at the film fest. So that's pretty cool.
But Otis, before we shift gears on that, the other major extras was down at the Edgecombe Courthouse, which was just a total zoo of people. So on Tuesday, what was it, the 13th, right? Yeah. Tuesday the 13th at 6 a.m. we start having, we casted probably over 150 people for that one. And they were all part of the courtroom attendees and murder trial jury, the jury there. And the next thing you know, at 7 o'clock, the guy that was opening the door goes, what the hell's going on here? So everybody's in their suits and ties and their office attire, and everybody's lined up to get through this garage door.
We have like 200 people lining up.
There's like 200 people back there, all the way on the street. And it was just chaos, and everybody had to go through metal detectors. They had, we had our crew trying to go through there. Our crew had scissors on them for cutting, tapes and gaffers tape. And so once we got upstairs, we were getting from the production assistant that works for the courthouse was saying, we've never seen so many people, even in a murder trial, a real murder trial, they have not seen so many people show up to the largest courtroom, basically in Tampa Bay and probably in the state of Florida.
And we actually Oh, we had the largest courtroom, courtroom one on the 6th floor, lended to us. So it was amazing, and the real judge came in the end to watch the
Chief Chris
trial.
Sabella said, I want to show up and meet these guys. I want to meet the director and his wife. I've heard so much about him. He comes in. He's having a blast with us, you know. He says, don't call me Your Honor. Don't call me your judge. Call me Chris. I kept calling him Your Honor because I thought it was an honor to meet the guy. He says,
Right.
I'm Chris. I'm just like you guys, you know. So
Very, very nice.
he was a real nice guy, a Tampa Italian gentleman, and he was watching the sentencing of the victims of the defendants, you know, and he saw a real live actor doing the sentencing, so he had a big kick out of it, you know.
Yeah, it was fun.
No, I bet. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a good judge at the authenticity of it all. So get it, a good judge.
Perfect for that.
Yeah, we had our actor judge, Richard Forbes. He was playing the
Richard
judge.
Forbes played the actor. He was just amazing. He was one of the first guys I casted. As soon as I saw him, he gave me his screen test, you know, and I just picked him right on the spot. I said, nobody's going to top this guy. And right after he was picked, I must have had at least 60, 70 people trying to be that part, but it was too late. So we just kind of used these guys for homeless or courtroom attendees. So we still
We
put
didn't
everybody.
want to. We always want to include everybody in the film, so we didn't want to just left them, you know, standing without any part in the film. So we always offer people to be an extra. So we had a lot of extra open spots for this film. So we offered them to be an extra, and they all accepted, and they all had fun. So, but they came later, you know. So we casted Richard Forbes first.
A
That's
rule of
why.
thumb for us is that we don't really like to turn anybody down.
Right.
So if we can't position them as an actor speaking part, then we will give them a non-speaking part and feature them in the film somewhere as a stand-in or a background extra.
If they want, you know, not everybody wants that position, but if they want, we are open for that for this situation.
That's awesome, because you never know, somebody might, you know, get the bug just from, you know, playing a little background or something. You may
Exactly.
start something, you know. You never know. Well, let's keep on this whole different locations theme here, because a lot of these locations I was not at. Of course, the one that we were talking about earlier with the heat and all the homeless people, I was there. I was at the neighbor's house, Ross, when we were filming there. But you also had a park. You also had a flower shop. There was a restaurant involved. Where would you like to start? Because I wasn't on set there, so all these stories are new to me too.
So the park was a big turnout. So we wanted to have park goers. So one of the scenes that is with the main actor, with Chase DeMoss, he plays the part of Tom Watson in the film. We wanted to have a situation where they were having this kind of melancholy talk at a picnic bench. So in the background, we needed park goers. So we put the word out there for mothers that have child stars. The kids, little kids that were wanted to be in movies, and had the parents wanted to start them off at a very young age so they can get the bug and start off at a young age to get into cinema.
Right.
So that was overwhelming. You know, we had, I don't know, there was maybe another 50, 60 people there.
We forgot about that.
We forgot about that one. And again, it was hot that day, and we have all these mothers with their kids. The kids were supposed to actually play the parts, but then we said, you know, Ma, why don't you be in the film with your son throwing a football? Or why don't you play, you know, Bagman, and play with the tennis rackets, you know, or throw. We had one woman, she's sitting there throwing an apple up in the air. You know, she's from Russia. She was actually from Russia. They were from the Ukraine, I think, or not Russia, but Ukraine. And they were sitting there, and she's sitting there the whole time in her beautiful outfit, and she's sitting throwing an apple up in the air while her son's running back and forth, and the daughter's running back and forth. You know, so
very cute.
Very
That was
cute.
a very cute scenario. It was hot again, but they all were having fun, and it was very cute. Very easy though, because we had just a few scenes that day, and it wasn't like that big homeless scene. It was cute. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good park scene. Was really nice, and we shot that. We got there probably around maybe 10 o'clock, and we shot that scene for maybe 3 hours, I think it was. We shot that, and that was very organized.
We work with other business owners around the area. We involved many, people and small businesses to help us. Especially, I would mention Ostara Floral. Ostara Floral Shop is the local floral shop owned by Courtney and Nancy. They actually, allowed us to film there for 2 days. So there was floral shop is the main location of the film. This is where Killer Grannies own the shop, and that's where they go to work. And they're training their the men that they just took in from the streets. They trained them how to cut flowers and stuff. So it was very it's like a granny's owning the floral shop. So we work with a Star Flora in that location. We work with Purge Eye Center. Our good friends, Dr. Larry Parrish, he lended us for a few hours his Purge Eye Center, and which is ophthalmology center in Trinity. And we worked with Marathon Gas Station.
We shot a major scene on the corner at 6 a.m. on a corner of Marathon Gas Station on Highway 41 in Land O'Lakes. And there was a lot of commotion going on that day. We had to implement, again, the homeless men in that scene. We had our lead actor ravaging through garbage pails and getting all in the dumpster. He's almost threw himself into the dumpster trying to find food.
Method acting.
Yeah, and
he's a great actor.
We had a lot of people coming on, by. What's going on here? We're talking at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. It was dark out by the time we shot that. The sun started rising in the morning. So that was a lot of fun there. And we also shot over at the famous worldwide Caliente, which is the Caliente Resort, the clothing optional resort. So we shot a fine dining restaurant scene there. We mocked a discotheque to be a fine dining, establishment. And it looked great. It looked great. It looked like even better than any restaurant I see in Tampa Bay. And it was a discotheque. So we shot there all day. Previously to Caliente, we were at right around the corner. We were at Big League Haircuts. So we actually had another small business that we were using with Ron, the owner there. And then we had Alicia, which is actually a
real hairdresser.
She's a real hairdresser. And she cuts my hair, and I said, "Hey, I want to put you in this scene." She goes, "No, I know nothing about acting." I said, "No, we would like to have you in the film." So
she did it on the spot.
She did it on the spot, and she did incredibly well. She looked like a professional actress. And then we actually, in the basement of Caliente, we made the basement look like an interrogation police office. So we actually took that and made it look like a working functional police station with an interrogation room with mirrors and stuff. So that came out great.
A lot of location. If we missed someone, we apologize. We can't, remember all of them, but it was a lot of locations. What else? Our two grannies that played in the film was Rena Romano. Rena Romano, she is great. She's a motivational speaker. She was on the Oprah show. She's an amazing woman, full of energy. Partnered with Jen Van Dyke. Jen Van Dyke, another amazing actress. She was in hundreds of films. And another rock and roll woman full of energy. So those two women endured 12 hours a day, every day to be on the set to complete that film. So
let's talk about
kudos
Rena.
to that.
Yeah. So Rena Romano, the woman that plays Rosa Peters in the film, one of the grannies. We're trying to find this diabolical, evil, wicked person, somebody that was just, that you wanted to just kind of like strangle her yourself because you don't like her as a viewer of the film. And we must have had at least 200 people wanting to play this part. And we still we couldn't find the right casting on this woman until Rena came along. And Rena gave a great performance on her casting, on her screen test. And I kept going back to Karolina. I said, I like this woman. What do you think about this woman? I think she's possibly our Rosa Peters. She's our diabolical granny killer. And Karolina says, I think we should take her. So we took her, and we're glad that we took her. And we applaud Rena for her performance, because it was very sick scene. Intense, the way she performed this part.
Jan, the same way.
Jan Van Dyke, early on, I was one of the early grannies that I picked.
One of the first actresses.
I was looking for a woman that that was from Eastern Europe accent, somebody that can act with an accent, and it's very hard to do that really, really, really good, and be able to talk. And she's American, but talk with an Eastern Europe accent. So Jan actually nailed it. Anybody that else tried to do it couldn't do it right. They would actually be doing their parts and then go back to their English language, So they couldn't really keep it going, keep the accent going. And she nailed it. She enthralled herself into the part. Both of them did. And they actually, by the end of the movie, I was getting scared of them, because they were so intense with their parts. We thought that they were going to be granny killers in real life.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's great.
I literally had to calm down Rosa, which is Rena. I literally had to hug her and say, the movie is wrapped. It's over. You're Rosa. You're not Rosa anymore. You're Rena. She goes, no, I'm still Rosa. I'm still Rosa. And I says, no, you're not. Some actors get so enthralled in their parts that they actually almost sometimes become this person after a while.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Do you guys want to run through some of these photos? Some of these photos are going to represent what we had just talked about. This one being the courtroom presence. Look at all those.
That's our attendees.
That's just a portion of them. There was a whole nother left side and right side of them. But that is the courtroom attendees that when I said to them, be serious. Take a second and be serious so we can get a nice photo of you guys. So they actually.
They were great.
They were great.
They were awesome. Awesome to work with this actually.
They all look dead serious. That's for sure. Yeah.
They had a blast with us. They said they've never been on a production site, production that was so exciting and happy from working with a great crew and working with us. And they've been on many other films, and they just had a blast with us.
Yeah, we really liked how they performed. They were extras, but they were just great. Chuck directed them, and he was just, whatever he said they were doing, and they did it great. And I'm very proud of them.
They actually had to change their outfits a few times to make it look like there were other days. But they had a blast, and we took pictures with everybody, and Tampa Times came down and wrote a great story on that. The Edgecombe building downtown, and
Fox 13 was there too. So they came the same day to have a little story on us. So
people didn't want to leave the movie party that was happening that day. The camaraderie between the extras, the actors, the crew. That we felt like we were all family.
Yes.
So we had directors, we had other actors, we had producers. They were actually playing as extras because they wanted to be in the film.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's great. Let's see. Next on the list, looks like it has Karolina, and there's the wheelchair, the guy in the wheelchair. I think we brought him up earlier. He was one of the many extras on that lovely blistering heat. It was horrible. Go ahead.
He played in Fast and Furious. He was a stuntman. His last time he was on the movie set was 10 years ago, and I think he injured himself on the set. That's why he has problems with walking. But he's a well-known actor. Actually, he's right down the wheelchair, and that his first feature since maybe 10 years. But he was amazing. I love the guy. Yes, and he was in Fast and Furious, so
Yeah, he was
really cool guy.
he was very touched by the film, and he was actually even helping after as a crew person, and wanted to be on the set every day just to be behind the scenes. And so we put him in a few scenes with us. He was in another scene that he looks like somebody else in a wheelchair, and so we put him in that scene as well on the bum scene down in town over there at Lee Harvey Park. So that he was just a really great guy.
He was a fun guy. He was a trip.
Yeah, his name was John. I don't remember his last name, but his name was John something. But
That's awesome. You guys got out of the heat in this one and went and played some poker.
Oh my God!
All right, so let me tell you this scenario on this one. So
Yeah.
So we had to do this poker game. You know, and you can see this is behind the scenes, and we're just prepping the scene. So there, a friend of mine, Marcus, the gentleman that's across the table. He is the deli clerk person at Publix.
Our good friend.
We know him for a while, and he knew that we were making films for years. And I said, we should get you in one of our films. He goes, nah. So at
the one in the middle.
Yeah, the one in the middle. So he basically has no acting experience, and one of my extras didn't get the times right. So he missed the scene. So I says, Marcus, we're going to put you in the scene. And we put him in the scene as a poker player, as a world-renowned poker player.
He looks like Denzel Washington, by the way. He looks just like an actor, you know, so he has a great face.
He has a great face, and he just had a blast. I actually saw him today. And he was very thankful that we put him in the scene. The gentleman to the right is Reese. Yeah. I saw something, and he's part of our crew, and he looks like a young Leonardo DiCaprio. Good-looking kid, 22-year-old kid. So I put him in as Pierce, one of the poker players. And he said, "No, are you kidding me?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to put you in the film. You got a great face." I said, "You should, carry your this face and do other films as well." So
he will pursue his career right now because he likes acting now. So he's part of the film crew.
He got the bug, and we put him in the film. So you got two people there across the table that had really no acting experience that we cut away. We show them as extras in the film, but they're playing as poker players, and they basically throw their cards in that they don't want to play for $500,000. They bail out. They don't have that kind of money. So the main poker players are to the left, which is Burke, right? Blake. And then to the right is my lead singer, Tommy, he's a doctor, Tommy DeFato. So we put Tommy DeFato in.
He's not in the picture, though.
You don't really see him. He's on the right side. Good-looking guy, lead singer, great singer. He sings like Chris Cornell and really can sing high. We put him in the film as well.
So you have 4 good-looking people there at the poker game, hot shot guys that playing for $1 million. So we needed those good-looking faces.
That was at the Egg Yolk Cafe.
So believe it or not, that's not in a casino.
That's not at a casino.
That's a mocked casino that was made by the art department and stage people in the restaurant.
That was actually, we put that together. So we mocked that. We were the set designers on that.
I mean, people help us, but the
lights and everything Adam and his crew did. But that was the back of the restaurant that we shot another prior scene that day where people go to get their breakfast in Tampa Bay.
Egg Yolk Cafe.
Egg Yolk Cafe with our good friend
food.
Brandon over there, the owner, and his mother, Maria.
That's great, man. And just looking at these photos, I mean, with of course, right camera angles, you wouldn't know that wasn't a casino. That's great, and especially using one location for multiple shots that's supposed to be look like they're in multiple locations. Keeping it, small there. And then, of course, using these, local businesses, I'm sure they appreciate it.
They had a blast with us. They actually had better sales that day because we had a lot of extras there. So, and more extras came to that scene as a restaurant attendees. So they came as well.
We had 30 extras.
We had 30 some odd people. So their sales went up because people were buying burgers and hamburgers and eating there as well. So
I mean, I don't think on your next movie, I don't think you're gonna have any problem finding extras if you film in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, it's not an easy task. I mean, it is a little bit kind of cumbersome to do that, but we wanted to make this film where there were a lot of extras, and it was very sensitive to extras. So we had to have a lot of extras in this film to make it work.
He got inspired by who? By Scorsese film.
His last film.
The film,
Killer Flowers.
Flower Blossom or so.
Killer something. His last film with Leonardo, and I couldn't believe how many extras they had.
They had so many extras for short scenes, even for like 5-second scenes. They had so many extras. So Chuck and I, we got inspired. Like, wow, the scene looks so amazing because all these people walking around, and it looks so cinematic,
so realistic.
Realistic.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was thinking. Realistic.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. Here, you mentioned him earlier. There he is.
That's Zachary Vasquez.
Zach.
We got Zach there playing a search. He's a police officer doing a search, a warrant.
Search warrant in the house.
In the house. We don't want to tell you too much about that scene, but that's the famous Zach Vasquez that's been in so many films. Great guy.
He currently works with Hulk Hogan in Hogan's Hangout. So if you want to see him, go to Hogan's Hangout. He's there every Monday. So
he's a bartender.
No, he's like a host.
He's a host. Yeah.
So he's so cool. So
he was in Velocity Kings and Live or Die, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And then we have good guy Shama Shaw. You can't really see the back of him, but he's the lead detective. He plays Detective Fontaine in the film.
In the film. And that's Chuck on the left.
I'm just basically blocking them and directing them to say, okay, this is what we need to do here.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And he's two bums.
We got Slake, the far background in the back there.
On the right.
On the right, we got Slake Counts. And Slake has been in many theaters. He's a play actor. Great performance by Slake. Been in many films. Again, I needed a part to play Bob Andrews. I found Slake, and Slake just was amazing.
He killed it.
Has a great Southern accent. Looks like a total bum. He's played bums before in other movies, so we picked him up as a hobo.
He grew his beard for like 2 months or so, or 6 weeks.
Right.
It was amazing, so he looked really great for the scene. He came prepped. Great actor. I think his acting skills are awesome. Amazing acting skills. And then on the left. Let's set the stage. Who is that?
Who's that? We had this great guy from Ohio, which is actually our host tonight of Indie Horror Junkie, which is Otis. Our friend here, that we could not find another guy to play this part. And as soon as I met Otis at MegaCon in Orlando, I said, who is that guy? I said to your co-partner, Rick, and he says, that's my partner, Otis.
I remember that.
And actually, you know what? I think I met you when you did our interview. That's where I met you. I met you when you did
we met in person for the first time at MegaCon.
Yeah, that's when I met you. So I said, I already had my mind thinking. I says, I need a guy with a long beard, like the guys from ZZ Top. So Otis, we congratulate you, and we actually applaud you for your amazing performance that you play Leo Sanders in our film.
Thank you.
You have a great look. You have a great voice, and I couldn't have not picked a better person, and that was you, Otis.
Well, that That absolutely means the world to me. That's awesome. I appreciate that. And I think that's also what made it very comfortable on set. You know, people were like, you know, man, you did great on that scene. I'm like, well, I didn't really feel like I I did all that much, but hey, it works. And I got a lot of encouragement. And again,
But you
great.
practice your parts, and we did rehearsals with you for at least
Yeah.
a month or more, and
Mhm.
you were very comfortable on set, and your performance was stellar. So
Yeah, you
Awesome.
gotta watch this movie just for Otis. So if you're a fan of
No.
Otis, you gotta watch this movie. Killer Grinds are coming probably next year, or maybe the end of next year. We'll see how my editing is gonna go, but I hope it's gonna go quick and good. But you gotta watch this film.
Otis has got the look.
He's got the look.
He's
And
got
he's
the
got
look,
the talent.
brother. He's got the real hair. That's not fake hair you're seeing on here. That's real
That's
dregs, hair dregs there in the back. We just came back from Jamaica in January, and there was guys walking the Rastafarians walking the beaches of Negril and selling herbs and shit. And you pulled that one off great, man. So we applaud you on
awesome.
that, brother.
Well, I appreciate that again. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're going to please anybody, it better be the director, right? Next
Oh
up,
my
this
gosh.
this is another scene. It looks like we got some investigating, maybe collecting some evidence of some sort.
This is Adam Bosner and his crew.
And his camera.
Intense scene on where they find evidence. Don't want to get into too much of that. We want to keep our viewers so we don't spoil the scene. But we have Ross on the left. Ross has been in two other
Love
films
you.
of mine. And then you have
Thank you.
Guy, Detective Fontaine, as they are alarmed by what they see.
Man, Adam was really, really, really cool to work with. Man, he gave good direction as you did, and again, if you can get good direction, well, I guess the other half of that is following direction. So yeah, he was really fun to work with. I befriended him on the Book of Faces.
Yeah, Adam's good people. I've did another film with him as my cinematographer.
Snarly Owl.
We worked with him on the Snarly Owl that we shot in the Appalachian Mountains there, and we had 10 days of intense filming there in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, Maryland area, which is just another great film that we can't wait to get out.
Thank you.
And basically that we left them in March, and then we called them back in probably May and said, look, we'd like you to be on this film, because we had such great camaraderie with him and his crew.
Oh no, absolutely. They were a pleasure to all work with. Very, very easygoing. They know their stuff. I love listening to you and Adam discuss, camera angles and everything. That was so intriguing to me for some reason. Then again, I grew up a kid who loved watching the making of, behind the scenes stuff. Love that kind of stuff. So it was really cool to see you guys work together and work well together, because I think this is going to be.
Both Chuck and Adam, they are like May birthdays, so they're very dedicated to any cause. Whatever they are doing, they're giving 100% of themselves and their heart into it. So the funniest thing, they both were wearing similar sneakers, and Adam was wearing orange sneakers the whole time, and Chuck was wearing red sneakers. So if you're looking for a director of photography, just go find their shoes. You can
find the guy with the orange shoes.
Orange and red. They're always walking together, orange and red.
The thing I like about Adam is he's very enthusiastic, and I need to work with somebody that's as enthusiastic as me and Karolina. We don't like deadbeats on a production set, and Adam had the enthusiasm and he knew what we were looking for. And he takes good direction from me. He's very coachable and gives me the shots that I'm looking for.
He's strong too. He's strong, like he endures a lot of stuff. He's holding this camera.
He's a stuntman. Plus, he
he's
burns himself on fire.
strong.
And plus, he's a good stuntman. Plus, he's also a martial artist. So
Yeah.
his endurance is very good and
Yes.
very strong.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know all that about Adam, but then again, he was so busy. I, didn't have a chance to sit down and talk about all that.
Right.
But next one, we have a little watching the monitor, making sure everything is going as planned.
Yes, watching the monitor, always watching the monitor and looking for details. See if I can see boom shadow, or do I see any other people in the reflection of the TV, reflection of the glass, whatever. I'm
Right.
just always surveillance.
We got to make
Really
sure that
surveillance.
there's each scene jives with the set. If there's a Coca-Cola bottle in the scene that one of the people left on there, we have to make sure. Oh, there's a Coca-Cola. Oh, there's a boom. Oh, there's something else.
By the way, we didn't have Coca-Cola, but we had homemade cookies on the set, which is Mama Eva cookies. So all the props were made by us.
Mama Eva
actually
cookies.
Made that
And
prop.
they
Delicious
look
cookies.
delicious.
Hold on. Delicious, 5 ingredients, and it's crumbly, delicious and crumbly taste. So I just, I made
Carolina
the
put
props.
all the props together. I took Carolina to Crumbles, that franchise Crumbles. Actually, we actually brought the cookies back because they were terrible there. But so Carolina says, you know what, I'm going to make my own cookies. So
Cookie box.
she made her own cookie box and called it Mama Eva, which
That's
is
the
named
name of
after
my mom.
her mother. We won't tell you too much about Mama Eva's cookies, but you'll see them in the film.
They look
So we made our own
fantastic.
props.
Oh yeah, I mean, if whatever you can do yourself, given the time, why not?
Yeah.
Next on the list, looks like a familiar face back there behind the desk. Interesting, and of course you see Adam
So
in his
that,
orange shoes there. His
Yeah, so
trademark
you
orange shoes.
got me playing Ethan Rosado. There, don't want to say too much about Ethan, but Ethan is a very astute insurance fraud investigator, and he works for the insurance company, and he has decades of experience on tracking con artists. So I thought it would be the perfect collaboration to play that part, because that's kind of what I've done for 40 years in another career in real life. And I said, you know what, I'd love to play this part of Ethan Rosado. And I had Carolina, my wife, play the part of my assistant, Sophia. There's a whole great story about that.
Yeah,
We won't
but
get
we
too
don't
much
wanna
into
get
that.
too much
But so that actually worked out really nice. We shot that at Ross's house. It actually looks like an executive's office at an insurance company. So it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it really does. That's always nice when that works out and you can get quite a few shots in one location. Got a comment. I want to go in here. Floor Torrin says, hi, everyone. This will be such an amazing film. I played an extra in the courtroom, and that's so much fun. The directing was great, and everyone worked hard to make it fun and enjoyable. Thank you, Chuck and Carolina. Adam also left a great impression. He is so good. Meeting the Killer Grannies and other actors was amazing. Everyone was very professional and friendly, and I can concur. That is the absolute truth. So being an extra, really made an impression on courtroom extras, and maybe Floor is, I guess that's how you
thank you,
pronounce it.
Floor.
Floor.
Thank you.
Maybe
Floor.
they're off on a acting
They had a
career.
blast with
Yeah.
us.
She was great.
I can't tell you, they were just, we made it like a party for them, and we wanted to have it fun for them, because we've played in other films, and sometimes the extras kind of get where you don't really notice them. They don't get the a lot of attention. So we wanted
Sure.
to make sure the extras felt part of the
Family.
of that day at the scene, you know. And we had a blast. It was all natural, like she says, and it came out great.
So thank you, Flor, so much. We really appreciate it. That was a very kind comment, and we can't wait to see in our future movies. If we shoot any other movies, we are more well. We welcome all of our extras back. You know, if we shoot another film. So, right?
Yeah, of course. The extras are fun to work with, and they have other friends that want to bring them on the set, and they want to be extras, and it's kind of this rolling effect that kind of happened. We kind of realized that. You're welcome. Thank you, Flor. Thank you.
Let's see. Next on the list, these three clowns.
So
Oh
you
my gosh.
got in the background, you got our main actor, Tom Watson, was played by Chase DeMoss from Texas. So an interesting thing about Chase, he was the last person to be casted in the film. We were having a very difficult time to find Tom Watson, the character of Tom Watson. We literally exhausted everything from Orlando to the Panhandle to down to the Keys. Everybody in Tampa Bay, we just could not find this guy. We had, we must have had 300 people trying to play this part of Tom Watson.
Yes.
So we tried to say, okay, let's venture out of the state of Florida and try to cast, up Maryland, maybe up to New York. And we tried
California.
Alabama. We tried, out west, and we did Texas. And Tom, I'm sorry, Chase DeMoss came and did his screen test. And as soon as I saw Chase, there was some magical feeling that I saw on his screen test that he looked like a little bit like Mel Gibson. And he was very natural. He's a true artist. And we said, hey, I think I found my Tom Watson. So we called him and we started talking to him, and we made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He basically came to Tampa and we hooked him up, and he started to, as the time went on, we started to realize he looks like Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
We started shaving him. I don't want to say too much, but we started cleaning him, and he started to more look like Russell Crowe.
So you can see Mel Gibson / Russell Crowe in him, when you're really watching the film. Not really on the pictures, but when he's on camera, he just looks like those actors, and you wouldn't you can't distinguish who is who.
The audience is going to love him because he just has such a special, kind-hearted way about him. He played the part to the hilt. I mean, he literally played it where you can actually feel him. And he indulged himself into the character of Tom Watson.
No, he really did. He did a great job, and you're right. He's such a down to earth, easygoing kind of guy. And you did send me a cleanup pic with looks like I can see the preview, right? You two and him. If we want to show everybody what he looks like cleaned up.
No.
Okay, I'm glad I asked because I was thinking about that.
If you want to go on Facebook, you can probably see it on there. But you got back to that picture again.
You look for the film.
You got on the left, you got our buddy here, Otis, which is a great shot of Otis, and then you got Slake on the right. So you got the three male actors. You've got Tom Watson, you got Leo Sanders on the left, and then you have Bob Andrews on the right.
Which are their stage names for the film. I mean, they're just role names.
So you got Chase DeMoss in the back.
Slake
you got in the foreground. You got Otis. Otis Dreads. And Otis has another nickname, but we won't say that. And then we got Slake Counts. I call them Dracula Count. He was the Count. And just all three great male actors, man. Great job, all you.
Thank you. Yeah, that That was fun, man. We were like, three peas in a pod. I mean, we were all dirty and just nasty. Got a few more. Here's a shot getting some interviewing done outside the courthouse there, it looks like.
You got Sherry, our friend Sherry on the left. She used to work for NBC. So I was looking for a court reporter. And again, court reporters is not an easy job to do, and to get the feel and get to make sure that you can have this bubbly attitude and flow. And so we had a lot of women actresses trying to play the court reporters. Again, probably at least 50, 60 of them tried out for the part, and we needed 3 of them. And Sherry was one of the ones I picked. And we met Sherry early on, and she's originally from Tennessee. She has a real great bubbly attitude, great person, great personality. So we picked her to play the courtroom reporter. In the middle, you have Detective Fontaine, playing by Guy Shamashaw. I can't say his name last night, but another great professional actor here in Tampa Bay. Played a great part, Guy. And then we have our buddy to the right, which plays Detective Cooper, which is Joe Albino, which, again, just amazing.
He was a real cop.
He's a real cop in real life. And I wanted a New York attitude. I wanted to have a badass kind of New York style attitude with a heavy, thick New York accent. So he plays his counterpart as the 2 detectives. And I couldn't have casted a better role for these guys. These guys were perfect to play Detective Fontaine and Detective Cooper.
Well, it also makes sense to have somebody who's in law enforcement play a law enforcement role. I mean, there's not a whole lot of real acting. It would seem, of course, there's going to be some acting, but he's acting like he probably does on his his 9 to 5. So
these guys were just amazing. They looked great together. They actually look like real detectives.
Yeah. They really do in that picture. Absolutely. Looks like we have Karolina hanging out with Tom.
That's with Tom. That's with him when he was still, in his costume.
He was dirty there and smelly.
Right.
He smelled like crap there.
So we are just prepping him for another scene and just instructing him what to do. So yeah, it was in Egg Yolk Cafe. Again, that was that restaurant.
That's the restaurant over there in Carrollwood, and that was early before any of the extras came. But that whole restaurant was packed by the time we started shooting there at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Wow. And we have, let's see, next on the list, I think this is the first time we have seen the grannies in a picture.
Yes, that's the grannies. Yeah.
So you got
look at them sweet old ladies. Come on, you mean to tell me these guys are dangerous?
Yeah, they're so beautiful,
so sweet,
so honest and trustworthy. But you got Rena Romano on the left, playing Rosa Peters, and then you got Jan Van Dyke on the right playing the diabolical other granny. She's playing Kate Roberts. Katerina Roberts.
Kate Roberts.
She was previously married to an American. We're going to lose our thing here in a second.
Oh, okay. No worries.
But Kate Roberts, 2 granny killers. You have to watch them in the film and see their great performances. A lot of work that they did. A lot of sweat and tears and emotional parts of the film, but they were just amazing.
Yeah, they were really fun in the scenes that I had with them. They were really it was fun to work across them. Be in the same scene. They were easy to work with. I felt it easy to bounce stuff off of. And of course, Rena with the looks she would give me, man, that helped get me in character. I tell you that.
Yes.
wasn't, you know, let's just say, you know, Leo doesn't really like these
I
women.
think there is a picture of Rena that I sent your production there, a picture of
The
Rena.
is it the little snarl kind of thing,
Yeah,
or is
and
it the jumpsuit?
she's on the monitor screen there.
Oh yes, look at that.
Oh yes, yes. Look at that. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, throughout the film, she's just getting into her character. I mean, literally, that was actually early. That was actually early on that she starts to feel that. But you know, by the time she's on the 5th day, she's just feeling the character to the hilt that she thinks she is. Rosa Peters.
Mhm.
No, she's definitely in character here. Got a couple more picks real quick before we wrap up. I wanted to throw this one up here because there you
Yeah.
see a lot of the crew. You know, there's Adam there. They all did an amazing job, I thought.
Yeah, you can
But
see
very
Chris
very
Dobbins.
easy to work with.
Chris Dobbins, the sound engineer, boom operator on the left. Then you see Adam Buster is on the ground. I'm pointing at him. Josiah is on the right.
Josiah
He
is an
was-
amazing gaffer and
he
lighting
was
guy.
Lighting
Amazing.
gaffer and also first assistant director.
You got Rena and back.
Not assistant camera. I'm sorry, assistant camera. First assistant director. That's Apple, and Apple is in the back on the right.
You
Then
got
you have
Rena
Rena.
there too. Rosa Peters there, one of the granny killers there.
You have
She's
Brady. You have Tommy Kramer. You have Ross and Chuck.
Yeah, that was kind of after a long day that we shot. I think that was right after we shot your scene, Otis. We went back to the house and kind of just, charged the batteries there for a little bit. And then you have Athena, our little Jack Russell in the picture as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Athena is in the picture. She was a part of the crew. She was emotional support for everybody. She's right here with us. You can check her out. Where is
Oh,
she?
there she is. Yeah.
There she is. Yeah. That's a third rat. We are basically called Three Rats Entertainment because I'm a rat, Chuck is a rat, and we have a third rat.
We actually have a Chinese zodiac signs as rats.
Rats.
So that's how the company name came about.
That's why we are Three Rats Entertainment. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Well, you learned something new. Let's see. And then I guess we'll end on a couple here. Look at that look.
Hey, who is that? Oh my god.
I don't know. He
Red.
needs a shower, it looks like.
Oh, he needs a makeover.
That's Otis Dreads there, and he's actually playing his scene, great scene that he did here in our film. We don't want to say too much about that scene, but Otis is
great makeup too.
Great makeup
by Angela De Leon and by John Klein. So again, those makeup artists, they did a great job for us. Mickey, I think Mickey, she was there the first day, which is Mariah, and everybody were working on the makeup. I love that.
Yeah, so Otis did a great job in that scene. I don't know how Otis, how long were you there just for that little scene there? That was probably at least 5 hours, man, or more.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure exactly. I was there probably about 11:30ish, and yeah, I'm not sure what time it was, to be honest. Probably around 4 or 5ish. I'm not real sure. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how just one little maybe 5-minute scene in a movie and take 6 hours to do. It's crazy, all the different angles. So it was really fun to see it from that angle, kind of standing off and watching all the moving parts just come together. I want to thank you guys for joining us. We did have to reschedule our guests that we originally had tonight. And Rick, first thought of you guys. Let's see if we can get Chuck and Karolina on, because you had just mentioned possibly coming on and talking about it. Looks like you're going to be making your rounds, the podcast rounds. I think you're going to be on another show tomorrow. So you guys keep an eye out for that. Three Rats Entertainment. That's a brilliant name. I dig it. And thank you guys. I think everybody, I think I speak for everybody when I say we all can't wait to take and see this finished product, because as long as I was out there on set, it looks amazing. It took a long time to get rid of you.
So we just had one of the Killer Grannies chime in.
Oh, she's typing all the time, Rena.
Okay.
Rena is in the chat room.
That's cool. Hey, Rena. What's up, Rosa?
Rena.
Yeah, we're in the money.
No, yeah.
But we don't want to say too much on that. But we appreciate you having us tonight as a great host, Otis. You're a great person. We love your personality.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see you, brother. Hopefully you come and see us again in the Tampa Bay area. And we enjoyed you having us on your show tonight.
Thank
Hey,
you.
no, absolutely. Anytime, if you got a minute, I want to say bye before I get off of here. So if you got a minute to hang around, I'm gonna close the close up shop here, and we'll talk here in just a minute. Hang tight, guys. So there you go. There's your Killer Grannies fix. All you need to know. I want to thank everybody. I had a lot of the crew and the cast in the chat. So I want to thank everybody for sticking around. We went a little over our time, but hey, we don't have a time because we run this ship. And we had a lot to talk about. We had a lot of Killer Granny stuff to talk about. Let me bring up. I'm going to bring up who we have coming on next week. I'm not sure when the rescheduling for today is, but it looks like as of now, Michael Gingold, journalist, screenwriter. We're going to be talking some indie horror with Michael. Until then, we'll see you next Wednesday.